Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Scope. It's the only show with spam on the menu. I'm your announcer, Tony Partington. Coming up on this edition of The Scope...
Hey, it's time to close out the cycle. We each recommend something we hated as kids but grew to appreciate. Plus, coming soon, hit it or miss it, and your comments.
And now, here are your hosts, Jared, Adam, and Shane.
Hey, Scope fans, episode 154. It's a big one, guys. It's a brand new segment.
You're going to want to back up off that microphone.
Oh,
Come on, you're getting like, hey guys, I'm just going to eat this macaroni. Go ahead.
I'm going to get close, but I'm going to talk quietly.
Okay, you can do that.
I'm still figuring it out, Jared. Mic technique's a difficult thing. We're 3 weeks into this.
You just got to get used to it.
Some of us are naturals.
And no, I was doing my looking down and then looking up into the camera. So when I looked up,
I see.
Too
you don't have to,
close.
It's okay. It's okay, Shane. The audience is with you. They want you to succeed. It's not a judgment.
This is going to be exciting. This is going to be our shortest episode ever.
We're working on it. And why is that? We've got a lot of things to do.
We got a hard out.
Real life is calling.
Hard out.
So let's talk about what's coming up on this show.
Yep.
This is a new bit that Jared sent me an email about a few months ago.
Electronic mail, my favorite.
I've got a great idea.
It just got to you.
It just finally got that. You know, that's what happens when you...
I should have paid for the high-speed upgrade.
Yeah. I could hear it dialing in. So Jared came to me and he said, Shane, I want to talk about...
I came to you via electronic mail.
Yeah. I want to talk about things that...
I just wanted to cuddle.
I hated when I was younger, but after a viewing later in life or a listen later in life, I grew to love. And I said, Jared, that's
I might have swam through it later in life. You never know. Go ahead.
And I said, Jared, that's a great idea. Thank you for finally coming up with some content ideas on the show, because you don't do anything for the show most of the time.
Nothing at all. No pre or post-production. Don't do anything.
And I also want to do one quick thing. Steve, thank you for getting Jared that iPhone C green. He's very, very happy with it.
Wait, where is it?
He's very happy. Adam,
it's great.
You're jealous of it. It looks like a good phone.
I'm still waiting for mine. The golds are now on 2-month back order.
Oh,
God, this is
goodness.
ridiculous.
How do you live?
He day to day, baby.
Piece of shit.
Day to day.
Well, hey, go ahead.
Anyway, so
I see Adam is sponsored by Under Armour today.
Yeah.
Well, both.
And Nike. Oh, goodness. Wait, do we have a sports apparel sponsor on the show?
We must.
Okay.
Wait, do we have to blur these?
No.
MTV always blurred. So
That's because the brands are not paying for promotional consideration, so
they don't want it. They don't want to give it up. So anyway, Jared,
we're demonstrating that we're fully capable of integrating brands into our show.
We don't care. We don't care.
And so if a brand wants to pay for promotional consideration, we're open to discussions.
Yeah.
Comments at thescopeshow.com. Go ahead.
There we go. So we've got this new bit. We're calling it the Scopes One to Grow On, looking back at things that we hated as children.
Yep.
And now we love it today. So very, very exciting. We've also got coming soon, and we've got the regular banter between the three of us. I mean, this is...
The banter always happens.
No time for banter.
No time for banter.
Okay, keep it lean.
So we'll take a quick...
Hard out!
We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Fightem Interactive presents Rhythms from the Crypt, the best of sudden death.
Can you hear me now? What the hell did he say? Can you hear me now? Damn, it sucks to get old. Huh? Damn it.
Stand back, I'm playing Pac-Man. I'll play some more Pac-Man.
Featuring 42 tracks on 2 CDs or one really big digital download, remixed, remastered, and in some cases completely re-recorded to sound as good as possible.
Lasers, cameras, you down with PMS? Yeah, you know us. You down with PMS? Yeah, you know.
Pimple, pop pop goes the pimple, the pimple, pop pop goes.
My Atari! Turn off all the lights and bask in the glory of a 2-bit sprite.
Rhythms from the Crypt, the best of sudden death, is available now on iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, The Fump, DevoSpice.com, or wherever funny music is sold.
I'm bored.
Hey, Scope fans.
Jared didn't even see it.
I know, I was doing my job. Guys, I have work here. I'm working. I'm on the clock.
We are back. We are on a tight time frame.
What I miss?
You missed this, Jared. Start the music again.
Tight time frame.
Hey, Scope fans, we're back.
Wow.
I'm gonna have all sorts of weird transitions in. We've got a new bit, as we've talked about.
I like how you're really embracing the video and trying to work
I'm
it.
trying.
That's good.
It's the scope bit I am calling Scope's One to Grow On. We're talking about things that we hated as kids, but now we've come to appreciate as adults. Let's start
Indeed.
with Adam.
All right.
Adam, what are you going to be talking about
I have
today?
I don't know. I have a few. Do you want me just to like name one?
Yeah,
name
just-
all of them.
Yeah, just sort of thematically tie them together.
There's no way to do that, but I'll go with the first one.
Okay, maybe there's a story involved.
Sure.
you've got
There's
4
kind of
minutes
a
to
little,
do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, so we're going with a food item.
Well, sure.
Oh.
I didn't want a theme. I wanted 3 very different items.
Okay, so we know that you're colorblind and you have secret relatives. Do you also have a problem with taste?
You have a problem with overachieving, picking 3. Oh
I
my
have
God.
a problem with
This is a pop culture show, by the way.
texture.
It's not a food show. There's
Yeah.
no Rachel Ray on here.
No, Rachel.
Oh, right. I did this for my other
No
show,
Paula
the
Deen.
Scoop.
The scoop.
scoop.
It's about ice cream.
It's usually
No,
about
it's-
ice cream.
it's a scoop of
Anything that you can
potatoes.
actually scoop,
okay,
Jared.
like mashed potatoes. Go ahead.
People will use ice cream scoops to scoop out mashed potatoes, I'll have you know. I'm a big texture person when it comes to food.
I agree with you on that.
We may both be on the spectrum because of that.
But I
or-
like mashed potatoes. But go ahead.
Okay. My whole life, this is mostly due to my mom not being a good cook. I think most of the mashed potatoes I had growing up were boxed mashed potatoes.
And in response, we have your mom on the line right now to take on those allegations.
Adam, I can't believe you hated my mashed potatoes.
That's Edith
don't
Bunker is your
know
mother.
What's happening? If you do want a good impression of my mom, we have to have friend of the show, Jess, back on. She does a
Yeah.
spot-on impression.
Great. We'll just bring her in just for that.
I want her in
Seems like
for
a
that.
good use of our time.
Like Adam's mom could be in studio.
That would be great.
Let's do it.
Get a dial up by phone or something.
Write that down.
So most of the mashed potatoes I ever ate were just gross. They tasted like mush. Like
Yeah.
it was just
They were more mush than mash.
Yeah, that
Got
is an excellent way of putting it. And then
It
one
is.
day,
I'm very good at this game.
this is a story. One day I went to Outback Steakhouse.
Oh my goodness.
And someone at the table ordered
A bloomin' onion.
Right, and ever since I've loved onions. The end.
Oh, that was funny.
Someone ordered their garlic mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And they smelled really good. I was like, they smell like garlic. And I've always liked garlic.
This might be the worst podcasting story ever. We're talking about mashed potatoes.
And so I was like, all right, I'm going to try those. And they're chunky.
Yeah.
They're not mashed. They're not mashy. They're chunky.
They're
And I was like,
real potatoes.
I was like, I like mashed potatoes. Ever since then, I've liked mashed potatoes. Now I can even eat the ones that are like over mashed, like whipped potatoes are kind
Right.
of too much like
Yeah.
that. Now even those,
As long as they're sourced from real fresh potatoes.
it turns out
From free range potatoes.
Yeah.
right. As long
you
as
don't
they're
want a potato that's been living in a cage.
right. As long as they were
You can
killed,
taste- you can
killed
taste the fear.
humanely, and then I'm okay with it.
Right.
So that's
Okay,
it.
number 2. And please let it not be feces.
All right,
jeez.
girls is my number.
Oh, jeez.
The TV show?
What is
No,
this?
girls. Well, there were
So
conflicting.
you were into guys.
There
and
were
you changed.
conflicting reports regarding the possession of cooties.
Okay, I get it.
What does the CDC have to say about
Okay,
the cootie situation?
I think this one's for you, Shane. I
Okay.
do have one that actually is somewhat pop culture related.
Somewhat.
Just for me. Jared doesn't care. He
Music.
can talk mashed potatoes
Go ahead.
for
As
hours.
a child, I did not like music.
Boy, you're very broad.
Music.
I don't think
Jared, I
I
was
don't-
anti-water
Look,
growing up.
you
I
know
was
what-
like, ugh.
You know
I
what?
just didn't get it.
I'm going to break out a sports analogy
didn't
just
get
to
it.
get people to tune away.
Yeah.
They say if you have 3 quarterbacks, you don't have 1 quarterback, right?
Right.
Adam has 3 things on his list. Therefore, he does not have 1 thing on his
What are
list.
you talking about? These are big things.
No, no.
Well, they're definitely big things.
I don't feel
but
like you put your heart into it.
broad.
I wrote half a page.
Oh, wait, there's handwriting.
Half a page
There's
is like a bullet list.
All right, there's handwriting. I give him credit now.
So
That shows dedication.
I specifically said 80s music, but I was a child from 1980
Yeah.
on. So
So that's oldies as far as you're concerned.
I didn't really like music until I started listening to rap music in the very early 90s.
And then you still didn't like music.
And then I liked music after that. And then it got broad from out there. But early 90s rap was really fun.
and you decided to investigate all these bands that these 90s rap artists were sampling,
Yeah. And then all comes
right?
together.
You deep dived?
No.
No?
I was
Going to
10.
roll with it, but I guess not.
Then you
was
started
10
watching
years
the
old.
OC. And then
that's my life.
and then it came together.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take over.
I can't believe that you guys are going to shit on me for this because
Jared,
here's-
give it a scope
all
score.
for the good of the
Give
show.
him a scope
the
score for that.
entire
Let's see
email
here. I have the
said,
thing here.
here's all the
Here
guidance
we go.
we got.
The Scope score is 1 1/4 star.
All right, I'm going to defend myself. This is all you said to me because I didn't get the insight that Jared created this and then explained it to you.
I got a hard out, Adam.
Talk about something you hated as a kid but learned to appreciate as an adult.
Adam,
in the context of the
we're
show.
we're in our 7th year. What do we normally talk about on the show?
Well, I talk about a bunch of bullshit on the show.
Well, then
We're in our 7th year, Jared.
mission accomplished.
Okay, dramatic Shane. All right.
That was not good. That was not.
I'm
You need
looking at-
Ernest Shane to copy Jared's. That's sad Shane. That's
What we
not
need is
Ernest.
we need a camera operator on a jib that can really do like a big zoom on your face or
I like
something.
it.
Or a big sweeping camera move.
I've got a good transition,
Okay.
which I'm going to do for the next show.
Go ahead.
But I'm
We
not
have a
gonna do
hard
it
out, though. Remember
okay,
that.
so I'm doing music as well.
Interesting.
Just music in general.
Okay.
No, I've got a handful of bands that
Yep.
when I was younger, I did not.
So you have a multiple list.
Yeah, I did not like or
Why am I the
appreciate.
underachiever now? I'm the guy. I thought we'd do one. Go ahead.
So let's start number one with the
Okay.
with the Beatles. I did
Yes.
not like the Beatles growing up, and I'll tell you where it stemmed.
Oh, this makes way more sense with the way you're doing it.
It makes perfect sense.
You just said things. Talk about something you hated, not bands or movies or TV shows,
Guys,
which makes way more sense.
7th year. I love it. We're
So-
really hitting this one out of the park.
So when I was very young,
Yes.
I had a babysitter, or sort of like a pre and post
Sexy
school.
teenage babies.
Not at all. She was a big fat pig who had a daughter who was ill-behaved, ill-mannered, and she was mean to me. And this
Shane, we know you haven't seen her in years. Please welcome Bertha,
there we go.
your babysitter.
So
Terrible name choice.
She had.
Sorry about that.
She loved the Beatles. So this was probably late 70s, early 80s. Actually, I think it was right around the time John Lennon was killed. So it was probably 1980.
Yeah, that would be the year.
Right before I was born.
And she used to listen to the Beatles all the time while yelling at me and letting her kid do whatever she wanted to do. She would feed us gross food like lima beans, where people actually ate lima beans. I mean, I'm not kidding you.
It was
Lima
a big
beans don't
controversy.
exist anymore.
They
That's
don't. They're
why.
gone.
No.
And I just
Damn GMOs.
I just could not ever. I mean, I didn't like the Beatles, and from there it was like this mental block. And then as you get older, you always associate the Beatles with old-fashioned music. Like, okay,
Sure. Yeah.
And
that's dad music.
it's dad music. Why would you ever like that? But as you get older, at least Jared and I, we start to appreciate the history of the Beatles, the sounds that they created, the change in rock and roll, what they were involved in, and how in such a short period of time they managed to change their sound from, that 60s inspired
Yeah.
rock music that everybody was playing to something completely different by the early 70s.
Yeah,
and they were in and out.
The bulk of their career was 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
6 years.
So yes, I can definitely
Top that, Drake.
can definitely say, Adam, that the Beatles in their early years were, they were creating a new music form, or they were adding to it, and by the end of it, they had transformed it, which I think is unbelievable.
I have a follow-up question.
Yes,
Do you like lima beans now?
I don't eat lima beans.
Okay, so you could not include this
In-
in a thing that you hated as a child,
Yep.
lima beans, and that you like
I'll
now.
tell you why.
I like most form of beans.
I'm
at this
funny
point.
about beans. They need to be small beans. Beans that are too big, I don't want nothing to do with.
Really?
Do you know what classification beans are under?
A legume.
Yes. It's a callback from 2 weeks ago.
Nice transition. I like that.
So some of the other bands I have, I'll throw in another one that Adam hates, U2. U2 was another band that growing up I didn't really like, I didn't appreciate.
I think I liked them more as a kid than I do now.
And I'll also lump the Police in with them as well. And the reason why is when I was a kid, I watched MTV very early, like 1982, 83. So I was talking to Jared about this. Just in general, I'm actually a little too young to be as big a 80s music fan as I am. I really should be late 80s to early 90s.
Yeah, you should be more-
should be my sweet spot.
More, hip hop and hair metal.
Yeah, I really should be, and then really into the the
But you
grunge and
definitely
alternative.
You really jumped, which is definitely more where I am.
Yeah.
You definitely latched onto like the whole new wave stuff.
Yeah, and
early MTV.
Yeah, because I was listening to MTV and I was listening to music in second grade and third grade. It was just something that was interesting to me. So in those days, the Police and U2 were so overplayed. They won all the awards. They were the go-to bands for MTV, and I just never really appreciated them. And then I don't really know what it was with the Police, other than I think I got a greatest hits CD from them in probably the end of my high school. And the song King of Pain was one that I really liked. And then from there, that just sort of brought me into the Police. Here's another band that did a lot of different types of music. I mean, they were reggae inspired.
Sure.
They had jazz inspirations and straight up pop. A very talented group. And to have the sound that they did for 3 members is pretty good, even though, let's be honest, I mean,
I had a bit of a about face on U2 myself, although it wasn't. It was in a pretty short span.
Yeah.
It was basically in high school. For whatever reason, I never cared about them, didn't listen to them, and this was up through Joshua Tree, and was like, they're stupid, I don't like it. Then I saw the movie Rattle and Hum.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, that completely changed my mind. And it was just...
super talented.
Yeah, you just saw the performances, and you saw the sort of size that they had achieved as far as their shows go, and I don't know, I really dug it. I liked the music, and I went back and got their whole back catalog, and...
loved them ever since.
Yeah, well,
Jared, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You watched that episode of Friends,
I did.
and that's what hooked you on them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When Every Breath You Take
Was that?
was played.
But that's the Police. That's not
talking
Or not Every Breath You Take.
With or without you.
With or Without You.
Yeah.
Good try.
Was requested by Ross.
It is one of my
Rachel.
top songs of all
It's
time.
a great song. I got into U2 probably late into college. I mean, where I really got into them, and it was crazy. It was just a road trip I took with a friend, and I was going through it was one of those crazy things that we were just going to go to up north in Duluth. We ended up in Chicago, and this whole big long trip, and part of that trip we listened to the Joshua Tree, and Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For was just ended up being a very meaningful song at that time period, and really got me into their back catalog as well. So, which I find to be a great song. Lastly, this is a crazy band, but I got into, but I appreciated aspects of Lynyrd Skynyrd that I never thought I would. Just in general, Southern rock reminds me way too much of 70s AM Gold. That's dad rock to me. So you can tie in the Eagles and those type of bands. But through playing Rock Band, believe it or not, I ended up getting a few Skynyrd songs. And about 2 years ago, I heard for the first time their song "A Simple Man," which to me is one of the best rock love songs out there. It's just a great song, sung with emotion. Probably way better than most anything that else that Lynyrd Skynyrd has done. I mean, they've done like "Sweet Home Alabama" and "What's Your Name," but this song is just right up there, one of my top 10 songs ever. So even I can appreciate Southern rock, and it sort of ties into bands like Kings of Leon, where they are inspired by Skynyrd. And, of course, Kid Rock, who is the world's greatest everything. Jared, over to you.
Do you shout out Freebird at concerts?
No, and even Freebird's a great song. I don't care what anybody says. It's a great song.
Good stuff.
Jared.
For me, and this is, I chose the item that actually inspired me to recommend this segment. For whatever reason, this movie came up in my memory one day, and I'm just like, you know what? I really disliked this when I saw it as a teenager, but I saw it again as an adult, and I was completely wrong. It's actually a really, really great movie. And the movie is from 1988, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh.
A
lot of people like that
comedy movie. I know. I couldn't. Whatever. It's directed by Frank Oz.
Yep.
Stars Steve Martin, Michael Caine, Glenn Headley, which we had recently just seen in Don John.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know. I can't picture the role. I wanted to rewatch this movie before the segment, but again, streaming media has let me down, and I actually don't own it on DVD.
It's not there.
But Ian McDiarmid, the Emperor from the Star Wars films, has a role in the movie.
Really?
I saw him on IMDb there. I thought that was interesting. Quickly, the plot is Freddie Benson, a confidence man, lives off women by waking their compassion with shocking stories about his fake fate. One day in a beautiful Beaumont-sur-Mer, he meets Lawrence Jameson, who shares the same passion, works the rich ladies with the same scheme, but in quite a different league. With the knowledge of his profession, Freddie forces Lawrence to teach him high society behavior so that he himself can earn a major living. When the time comes to say goodbye, Freddie decides to stay a little longer. As there is no way the two con men can work a small town at the same time, Lawrence and Freddie agree on a settlement. The first one to extract $50,000 from a young female target wins. The other leaves town. The sum is no match for Lawrence. The age of the lady, no match for Freddie. Let the games begin. That summary is courtesy of IMDb.
Wow.
So yeah, you've got Steve Martin and Michael Caine as rival con men, and Glenn Headley ends up becoming the Mark. And the story goes from there. And for whatever reason, when I saw this as a teenager, I just didn't connect with it. I'm
Sure.
like these. I hadn't yet gotten to the point where I was really could appreciate Steve Martin's comedy.
Sure.
And Michael Caine was just another old English guy to me at the time. So yeah, the film didn't connect with me. I didn't know it. It was on the French Riviera. It was just a whole bunch of stuff that a teenager didn't
Sure.
care about. But now that I've seen it as an adult, it's like, it's a great comedy. I mean, Frank Oz is a great director, which
He's
you
done
know.
other great things
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Babe. He did Babe.
Yeah, babe.
You know, the pig movie.
He didn't do Babe.
Frank Oz? He directed, didn't he? You sure? I'm looking that up right now. IMDb.
Fact checking is going to kill this podcast.
Quickly, the thing about Steve Martin is very funny guy. I always thought that he would have more of a career trajectory like Bill Murray in the sense that he could play those type of roles.
Yeah.
But he's never really had super successful movies.
Damn it, you're right. Why am I thinking he directed Babe?
He didn't. It was
He
an
didn't.
Australian guy or a...
It was some guy named Noonan. How do you know that?
Peggy Noonan.
Anyway, he directed other stuff. But yeah, as an adult,
He directed The Godfather.
I
He got that under his
really,
belt.
I really, really appreciate the comedy
Yes.
of these two great actors just playing against each other. And there's the classic character Ruprecht that Steve Martin enjoys or invented. What are you doing?
He's eating, remember? He hits himself in the eye.
Yeah, and he does like, and I go to the bathroom and he like pees his pants.
Thank you.
He does.
That
it's
movie's all about comedic timing
Yeah,
and subtlety.
it's just it's something you just have to appreciate with a more formed adult brain, I guess, and
Do
a great twist at the end.
Do you have other movies that you don't have to say them because we can save them for other bits, but there are other things you've thought about that, oh yeah, this is something I can also appreciate as an adult that I couldn't as a child?
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking like, MASH and Hogan's Heroes, but I
Sure.
sort of like hated those as a young kid,
Yeah.
and I started liking them as a teenager in high school.
I could put both of those on my list. Those are fair game.
yeah.
Dune,
So it's
I
not
didn't
quite.
like Dune the first time I saw it, but I liked it later. As
I don't think
a
I've
late
seen it
teenager.
recently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Never really got through Dune.
You know
Sorry.
what? In my defense, from my list not being like your guys' list, I was like a fully realized person at 6
Of
years
course
old.
you were.
Oh,
so-
jeez.
So if you guys are you have issues with mashed potatoes, girls, water, the Beatles,
I always
or
liked
Dirty
water.
Rotten
I
Scoundrels,
always liked water.
we're telling you it's safe. It's safe
Hey,
to go back to these things.
You mean it gets better?
Yeah,
It does get better.
Exactly. I was waiting for someone. It gets better.
And Jared, that's been one to grow on from your friends at the Scope.
yeah.
Let's move it along, guys.
What's coming up?
Coming soon,
Yeah.
and other stuff
Okay.
after this.
Look out for the laser! It's the scope. Under the scope.
Do you
Adam?
think the laser gets him?
Well,
No.
he hasn't been in, so you tell me.
I think
tell
I
me.
think he's aware of it enough that he knows, but he's trying to warn everyone
He's
else.
warning everyone else.
Yeah,
He's got ninja-like maneuvers.
All right.
He's
Coming
clear-
soon,
yeah, yeah.
episode 154. Hit it.
All right. We've got music coming out. October 15th, we've got a new album from Gary Newman.
Known for the song Cars. Do.
Good job.
Paul McCartney's new album that they've been playing that single from on The Current
Yeah.
is finally out. The album's called New. Pearl Jam also has an album coming out the same
Getting
day.
a lot of play.
Scotty McCreery
Yep. You loved him on American Idol.
album coming out. It's weird how they push albums to the end of the year. The Dismemberment Plan, this industrial band, I think, right? Maybe a punk band, I forget. The Head and the Heart, and We Are Scientists, a band that I like a lot.
Yeah, I'm real hit or miss with these
Yeah,
dudes.
I know. With these dudes. Movies, we've got Carrie, that is a remake to
Yep.
the 70s
Supposed to be more faithful to the book. If
Interesting.
that makes any difference in your decision making.
And Escape Plan, I don't know what that one is.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
And
yes.
Sylvester Stallone.
It's Prison Break, the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone's job is breaking out of prisons.
Yeah.
So
But he's
naturally,
double-crossed.
naturally they put him in another prison.
That'll hold him, right, guys?
I'm sure it will.
Absolutely.
No, they won't break out of this one. No.
DVD and Blu-ray, we've got The Colony. Forget
What
which
else?
one. The Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Pacific Rim. I'm
Did you
excited to
say
finally
the in the
see-
heat?
I did. I
Okay.
said Heat, comma the Pacific Rim. I'll finally get to see that. And Star Wars: The Clone Wars season 5. This must be the last season of
It
that.
is, yep.
Okay.
It is. And there's some unaired episodes that are still to be determined.
In the
terms
can.
Of, when we're going to see them.
Yeah. It seems silly
And-
that they won't do something with them,
Yeah.
but then again, they did just shelve their Star Wars, whatever that comedy series,
Yep.
the sitcom was. They've got like 100 episodes done. They said, nah, we're going to hold on that for now.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
Seth Green
the Seth Green show.
Robot Chicken guys.
Interesting.
It looked terrible,
For video games, only one here. Skylanders, the third Skylanders game, Swap Force, lets you remove
Break 'em
the,
in pieces.
Yeah, heads and legs, or the bodies and legs.
So wait, they encourage you to break your Skylanders figures so that
They
you have
do.
to go buy more Skylanders
They're held
figures?
together by magnets, so you just swap the bodies. And
My
the
daughter, who is
combo
a
powers.
big fan of Skylander Giants, or she was a fan of the idea of Skylander Giants, not so interested in this. She is interested in Disney Infinity, which I have already purchased for Christmas.
Look
For
at
which-
you on
for
top
which
of it
system?
already.
I got it for the Wii U.
Okay, you need
Here we are in mid-October, and you've already got Christmas
I've
shopping
probably had
done.
it for close to a month already.
Does she know?
She does not know.
She's gonna listen to this.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. So guess what, guys? We've got Hit It or Miss It. And it's my turn, Jared.
Hit it or miss it.
So this time around, I am picking the latest album by the Avett Brothers called Magpie and the Dandelion. This is not a great week for stuff for me, but I do know that we were introduced to the Avett Brothers very early on, and I'm calling them the first neo folk band, although you guys don't agree with me.
I have no opinion on the matter.
Jared that had a.
But
Well, let me break out my timeline of neo folk bands, and we'll choose the first one. I don't know.
we
I don't
heard about
care.
these guys
We did.
very early on.
Yes.
So
we requested to review an album by one of our listeners.
who was it? Sean that suggested? I don't remember who it
Could be.
was.
Who knows?
But yeah, we'll put this one on the Hit It. Put it in the Hit It column for
Check it
this
out.
episode. So check out the newest by the Avett Brothers. And there you go. That's coming soon.
Under the scope.
I'm gonna clear something up real
Yeah.
quick. I like Freebird.
Hard out.
It was just a joke.
All right.
We're gonna get a lot of Skinner fans writing in with hate
Yeah.
mail for you, Adam.
Or
you can
Skinnered
count
haters,
on it.
Or Skinnered haters agreeing with you and now hating you because you do like them.
Whatever way, we're teaching the controversy.
Jared, please.
Comments.
Keith
writes in again. He says, I'm loving the YouTube channel and the ability to watch the podcast. I don't know why regular radio stations aren't doing this already. It's made my scope experience much more enjoyable.
Of course it has.
So there's a testimony from Keith. You should be
Thanks, Keith. I'm looking
watching
at you.
and subscribing to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com/The Scope Show.
Do it.
Yeah. That's all I have for comments
Wow.
on this one.
So how do people get in touch with us if they want to leave comments?
I don't know, write a note,
Write it
dig a
down.
hole in the ground, stick it in there, and hopefully it'll get to us.
Ride
Is
a
that how it
pony?
works? No, actually, there are better methods than that.
Don't tell us. please.
You can email us at comments@thescopeshow.com. Call the voicemail line 612-21-SCOPE, 612-217-2673. Put that in your phone under Domino's Pizza.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because then
Because then you're trying to order pizza, and
you
suddenly
get
you're
off.
on the Scope line, you're like, I guess I'll leave a comment. It'll be just like that.
perfect.
You can like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Tumblr, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. All those links are on the website over at thescopeshow.com. And as always, Shane, I'd like to encourage our listeners to share this episode with their friends. Share this episode here. Did you enjoy it? Do you hate Freebird by Leonard Skinner as much as Adam does? Share this show with a friend. Do you love Freebird and you want to prove Adam wrong? Share the show with a friend.
Do you have a favorite Adam headband? Share it with a friend.
Yeah.
Do you have a color request for Adam's headbands? Share it with a friend.
Are you a sports apparel manufacturer and you are looking for a quality media outlets through which you can advertise your products? Comments at thescopeshow.com. Just saying.
Do you have a good idea for a transition from me to not look at the camera to looking at the camera? Tell a friend, and I'll do it.
But what we're saying is get involved.
Get involved.
In some fashion. Either by liking this episode, sharing it, or by paying us big money to show your brand.
Exactly.
Or by,
Or all of the above.
yeah, whatever. Just get involved.
All right. So very, very exciting. We've got no plugs here.
No,
Nobody's doing anything.
Nothing going on.
We're just going to be prepping for the next scope show.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my sexy hamburger costume to come in the mail because Halloween is near.
Sexy hamburger.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Gives a new meaning to special sauce,
You
doesn't
don't,
it?
you don't want to see it.
I do want to see it.
No.
Well, let's wrap this up. For Jared, Adam, this is me, Shane. Say thanks for listening. get more scope for you in just a couple of weeks. Later, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying sayonara. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.